Okay.
There you go.
All right, and then Eddie, you're gonna moderate the chat and Facebook. Okay, awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it on Facebook. I mean, on Facebook in a second here.
It's on Facebook.
Okay, so it's already running on Facebook?
Yep, we're on Facebook.
So all I have to do is go and look at it. All right.
Yep.
Delaney, I wanted to say, Monique texted me a short while ago letting me know that she's not feeling well, and so she was going to be unable to make this meeting.
Okay, can you ask her to email us?
I sure will.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Hi, David.
Thanks for letting us know.
Hi, Lisa, how are you?
Good, nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Wow, can you come clean my house?
I got some very handy kids that we make make sure they stay busy.
Man, I wouldn't even dare do that in my house. Oh yeah, that's right, we're live. Sorry, but we are human.
We are.
That's
human.
right. It's not always like this.
Right. Well, we're all gonna have fun together, so that's the deal.
That's right. That's right.
Nobody says we can't have a sense of humor and have some fun while we're at this work.
That's right. You got to keep it light.
That's right. Amen to that.
Okay, let me get us posted to a couple different parts in the community, and then we'll adjourn. We'll start the meeting. It's not. Oh, I shared it a bunch of times. Okay. All right. Do we have a quorum? Or we do, don't we? We are good. Okay. I will call our the Humboldt County Human Rights Commission monthly meeting, call to order today at 5:01 p.m. And just so anyone who's tuning in, this is the monthly meeting for the Humboldt County Human Rights Commissioners meeting. If you have any comments, you can put them below on our Facebook page, the Humboldt County Human Rights Commission page. Or you could also, if you would like to be a part of public comment, which is in just a few minutes, or you have any agenda items that you would like to address, you can join us through the Zoom link, which is also on the Facebook page, or you can go to the county website and look at our agenda. Okay, David, you're here. Great. All right. First thing, sorry everybody, let me get the agenda up.
Erin has her hand up.
Hi, Erin.
We lost Larry.
We lost.
Yeah.
Do we still have a quorum? Although I guess he.
We still have a quorum. Could you let Nezzy know? We'll let her in. Oh, she's already in. All right.
Do you want to put her in their waiting room?
Could you keep her in the waiting room? And hi, Nezzy.
Hi.
We'll let her in after when we get to her part on the agenda.
Okay, that's fine.
And
all right.
If I cut you out, it's not intentional. Just come back in and I'll have you there. Okay.
Okay.
Bird, with Lisa on, do we have a quorum with 6 of us? We do. Yeah, we're good. Okay. All right, with Larry off. Okay, I'm sure Larry will come back on. Yeah. Okay, well, let's do roll call. Scott Davies, he's actually on a leave of absence for the moment. Monique, she also has reported in her absence. David Haney.
Here.
Carol Larson is also out on an excused absence. Bird Lochte. Here. Mary Loyens. Larry Miller. Eddie Morgan.
Here.
Aaron Rowe.
Here.
And then tonight, as a lot of us already, I think, know, we have a new commissioner tonight, which I want to welcome and thank you, Lisa, for joining our tribe of do-getters. Would you please just give us a quick little like hello and something about yourself?
Oh gosh. Well, hi everybody, and I'd like to thank our 5th District Supervisor for sponsoring me into this commission and this important work. And as you heard my mom, I follow a legacy of professional volunteer work, and I'm heart driven. So when I see things that need to get fixed, I just kind of get the work done regardless. But I come from a background. I was born and raised in Trinidad, California, and went to Trinidad Elementary K through 8th grade, and then I graduated from McKinleyville High School and attended Humboldt State University. So I'm a real homegrown. Plus, I'm indigenous for thousands of years. So I'm from the several Yurok villages. For those that don't know, I live currently in Trinidad. So I'm from Chile. And I am just bringing my talents to the table. I've got a long history of family doing a lot of activism work wherever it needs to get done. And so I consider myself a visionary and a strategist and political ninja a little bit. And so I'm excited to be here and use my talents to go peek in down this funnel and see what's going on down here and see how we can help everybody out and lift everyone up. So thank you. And I look forward to working with everybody. And for those that are out there listening, feel free to contact me. I have a Facebook page, Lisa Sundberg, if we're not friends on Facebook. And I love to help support you in whichever way I can. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Commissioners, does anyone wish to make a comment?
No, welcome.
Say welcome. We're very glad to have you.
Thank you.
Welcome, Lisa.
Thank you.
Yes, thanks a lot, Lisa, for bringing your energy to this table. I think we're all going to benefit from it greatly.
And thank you, Lelania. You've been an amazing leader. So I look forward to working with you and learning a lot from you. Another professional volunteer.
For real. But it sure feeds us well, our hearts, huh?
Yep.
All right, let's move down to the next, the minutes. Did everyone get a chance to take a look at the second draft of the minutes? All right, do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion, except Bird doesn't, Bird?
Go ahead.
Okay, I make the motion.
Okay, and do we have anyone who would like to second the minutes?
I'll second.
Bird is seconding the minutes. Do we have a discussion?
Just to say thank you, David, for fixing them and getting them out to us so we didn't have to talk about all the little typos in them. So it makes it so much easier if we can have it early and take a look at it, and you send out the a draft after it's been looked at. I think that really makes things go much faster for our meeting. So thank you.
Thank you, Bert. I think so too. I think you hit it right on. If we can get a draft out, and with the level of support that you provide with keeping these minutes as dialed as they need to be, I'm very thankful. So thank you all for the support with keeping these minutes as perfect as they need to be.
And just one more thing, as I mentioned when I talked with David about it, Lelania, you are a voting member of this body. So if you do not vote, that should be listed as an abstention.
Oh, okay.
You're not a person who just votes if there's a tie. You can always vote. Anyone who does not vote should be listed as an abstention. So just so that it shows whatever the vote is that David has, yes, no, and abstention, the total of that should total the number of people who are there at the time. So got to have the abstentions shown as well.
Okay. I want to say that in the Google Drive, everyone needs to make sure that they have access, because the minutes are in there. And the idea is that we all have access to look in on those things when they get popped up. So that we can come to these meetings with all our ducks in a row. I know it's going to take a minute for us all to kind of get in on that system, but that's the idea behind them, is that we all have access all the time, so we can give our input at 3 in the morning or 5, whenever it's convenient for us. Hi, Mary. Welcome.
So, and now David, this is where, remember I said who came when? Now you check the time when she comes in, and then that shows in the minutes when anybody comes in or if someone leaves.
That's right. Thank you, Bird, and thank you for that advice. That's useful for me going forward. I appreciate it.
Good.
All right, so all those in favor of approving the minutes? Eddie, Lelania, Bird, David, Aaron, Marianne, and Lisa. Any nays? Any abstentions? All right, thanks you guys.
The only person is Larry that was in here, and I haven't seen him jump on yet, but I'm keeping an eye out for him.
Okay.
I have a quick question.
Yes, Lisa?
Because I wasn't a part of the last meeting, maybe I should do an abstention. I don't know if that would be appropriate.
You were sent the minutes, but if you didn't read them, you definitely want to abstain.
I'm abstaining.
Okay, got that, David?
Yes.
All right, right on. Who's this person who just came in? Do you know, Eddie?
No, but I will put them in the waiting room and find out who they are.
Okay, fantastic. All right, you guys, do we have any adjustments of the agenda before we move on to our guest?
Can we share the agenda? Are we side screening sharing it, or should I just minimize you guys and look at it again?
I think what we decided a few meetings back is that we were just gonna have it, we're all looking at it, and it's
No worries.
available online. It's on the Facebook page. It's for the public to look at it while we're going through this. All right, so
I'll take a second to look
no
at it.
adjustments on the agenda. Can we move forward to the next item? All right, being that the month, Bird, is that your hand or just adjusting?
Just
Adjustment. All right.
adjusting.
All right,
Sorry.
being that this month, I believe it's December 21st this year, is Homelessness People's Memorial Day. And tonight we have a guest joining us. She's actually one of our, I don't know how to appropriately say that she used to be a commissioner, and I believe the chair of the commission, Nezzy Wade, who is also the founder of an organization called And can we let Nezzy in so she could tell us what they are up to for this holiday, as well as what they've been up to and maybe what's coming up? Hi, Nezzy. Thanks a lot for taking time out to join us.
Hi,
Let me turn a light on really quick. Hi, how you doing, Bird?
Just fine. How are you doing, Nezzy?
Good. That's not much more light, but it's a little, it helps. Okay.
Yeah, that helps. We can see your face now.
Yeah,
Okay.
good.
Well, thank you. I think it's great that you're looking into all the things that I see you're engaged with, and human rights, of course, is a big one for International Day of Human Rights coming up, and Article 25 of the International Human Rights document, the Declaration. I think that this Homeless Persons Memorial Day, that's what you've asked me to address, and I would like to, I think most people on the commission are familiar. If you're not familiar, it is the 30th anniversary of Homeless Persons Memorial Day, and it takes place somewhere around the winter solstice, wherever it happens. And of course, it's going to have different aspects depending on what community it's happening in and what's been going on in those communities. But it's generally on solstice, which is about December 21st, because it is the longest night of the year. And it's there to emphasize that people have to be out there when they don't have other options. And so the National Coalition on Homelessness has been the driving force, but the National Consumer Advisory Board and the National Health Center for the Homeless Council are encouraging communities to hold public events, especially this year near that time, because one of the things that is really important, the pandemic and the upcoming expiration of the eviction moratoriums and the kinds of things that we're going to see that will displace people in springtime and on into 2021 are that we see the fallout of that and some of the issues around unemployment benefits. But the winter, we will be exploding in homelessness probably during the winter months. And if you listen to what the CDC is saying about COVID-19, they expect December, January, and February to be the worst months in America's history. So if anything that we can do to bring attention to the growing number of homeless, and you know, we have Homeless Persons Memorial Day largely to remember and to honor those people who have died on the street while being homeless. And in our history, sadly, in Humboldt County, we have a few hundred plus that have died on our streets since we've been doing Homeless Persons Memorial Day. 25 last year, it's probably somewhere around 20 so far this year. And of course, a lot of the people on the street, when they go, if they don't have family or they're not identified, they don't really get, sometimes they're just put multiple people in a grave if that happens at the same time. So anyone can coordinate an event, and what we would like to do, AHA, Affordable Homeless Housing Alternatives, Hatcher, OTCA, other groups that we have participated with in the past. On the plaza, we have had a large event where we provided food and clothing and warm articles for people to be able to get through these winter nights, and have held a vigil, a candlelight vigil to honor folks and have read their names. It's really challenging during COVID to imagine us doing all of that. We will not be doing the food portion, while we might be able to make some things available that are prepackaged like we do with our other services. We haven't really determined how we can do all that. We thought about inviting people to share, as we usually do, clothing, bringing jackets and things to keep people, but there's also a risk in doing that these days. So if people want to contribute, we were thinking of telling people that they could bring them to a location and we could see about taking care of washing and maintaining the things that they do bring. But we don't know what that's going to entail for on the other side of that for our volunteers. But we would, at the very least, we will have a candlelight vigil and we will honor the people who lost their lives this year on the streets. And there's, you know, you might have some curiosity about who those people are, or, you know, what were the circumstances of their decline. But when you're homeless, a lot of your health needs don't get met, and it's very stressful. And so a lot of people are aged up. They don't have proper nutrition. They don't get health care. They have infections. They have a lot of heart issues. In these months, they use drugs and alcohol to sort of get through the misery of winter. And sometimes that contributes to heart failure and to freezing and a whole lot of other things. So we will talk a little bit about that as well at our event. And it will be probably during the day into the early part of the evening. We have been there historically from about early afternoon until late into the evening, 10 or 11, even later, to be able to provide hot coffee and warm things, you know, warm food on an ongoing basis for folks. But I don't think we're going to be able to do that this year. So if any of you have questions about this, anyone can coordinate an event if you want to be part of the event. Service providers can be a part of it. Any organizations can. It will, you know, we have a network of folks that are houseless and formerly houseless that participate. And you can go to the website for the National Coalition on Homelessness, and they have an organizing manual if you are interested in doing something on your own, maybe not this year or some year. I don't know if you can split your screen, but there's a lot of beautiful pictures on that site, posters that you can share. And it's fairly recent. It's something that is nationwide, and it's been going on for a long time.
What
So
is the name of the website? Because what we could do is post it on our social media as well as in other places.
it's the National Coalition for Homelessness.
All right, thank you. Nezzy, it looks like some of the commissioners have questions. Bird, I think you had your hand up first and then Mary Ann.
No,
No?
Mary Ann first.
Mary Ann did? Okay, Mary Ann, you guys are on my screen differently.
Hey Nazzy, how are you? I haven't seen you in a little while, but I was
Hi, Mary.
wondering, I sure wouldn't mind figuring out a way to do a virtual candlelight vigil. I'm sure that I could create a Facebook page just on my own as a citizen.
You know, we had
And
a
we could
Facebook
work-
page last year. and
Did
we-
you? How did it go with the candlelight vigil? You had a
It was-
face.
It was mostly just advertising, and there was some video. I didn't do it, so I can't tell you exactly how that went, but
Well, I think it'd be cool to do a live so that everybody, they're not like, it would just be literally having, as though you saw a candle and folks could log into it live so that you could have that many people participating live. I think that might be a kind of a cool idea. I've seen that actually done before recently for funerals and for other different reasons. So I don't know if you have anybody on your with your group who is able to do that.
we do have
But-
some folks that are tech savvy. I'm not one
Good.
of them. I'm not one of them.
No, I understand.
But I can carry that message for sure.
Yeah, and let me know. I'm sure that you can get a hold of me one way or another. You have one or two of my emails, and I'd
Okay.
be glad to do something with that. I also wanted to know, how has the Home Key project, have they done anything else for this community besides the turning the inn into permanent housing over here on, have they been able to open up any more hotels for housing for our homeless here in the community?
My understanding is that Bayview, the Bayview Motel has just opened up. I don't know if that's related to Project Home Key, but I would imagine.
Bayview, the big green hotel that they were just working on. I
one up-
live on Fairfield. I'm
Yeah,
like,
exactly. That's the one. And
oh, I
then,
didn't know that. So that's good to know. So they're going to turn that, because it hadn't had a lot of business. So that's good to know. So they're trying
and
to
they have Betty's Neighborhood going in, and they have, they were trying for some other Home Key project that didn't pan out. But I think
with
that,
the Serenity Inn or something that became permanent too, right? I think
yeah,
it's
it's transitional,
the
but
Humboldt Inn on 4th Street, the Humboldt Inn on 4th Street in Eureka, that's going to become, it says a permanent house homeless.
yes,
That's good to know.
that's St. Joe Providence.
Yeah, that's pretty cool to see the
Yeah.
Eureka Inn there, the old Humboldt Inn. So that's good to know. I was just wondering if anything else had been done, because I haven't been able to, I try to keep up on it, but I just hadn't seen anything recent. Wondering
Well,
with
Betty has a shelter now for women and children and families, and there is, they see that as making big strides. There are still a significant number of people, which is, tied to our heart cords, that never qualify for a lot of the programs. They just
I
don't.
understand, yeah.
go there. So,
I've
know,
had students that lived in Betty's project.
well,
And I've got- yeah.
one of the things that you could do as a commission, I know it's not really anything other than just acknowledging homeless persons Memorial Day, but just like you did a resolution for hunger and homeless, or supported the resolution for Hunger and Homeless Awareness Week, the same thing. December is a huge month, with it being International Human Rights Awareness Day and also being Homeless Persons Memorial Day, following right after Hunger and Homeless Awareness Week. the whole holiday season is underscoring, it's to underscore, the bounty that everyone has. And it's just like people say to us all the time, oh, what a wonderful thing, that shower program. It's so wonderful. And everybody's so happy and grateful that we're doing the shower program. But it really, and it is a wonderful thing. It is absolutely wonderful. We've done close to 1,500 showers in 10 months of operating. So it's huge, and it's healthcare for a lot of people. But the important thing about all of that is that it should underscore that folks don't have what they need. It really, we still need to keep working hard on alternatives. So, but you could do resolutions. You could get involved with a memorial service if we, at the gazebo. You could even make a statement to the Board of Supervisors acknowledging the people that, have given up their lives while being out there.
The progress of commissions and boards of supervisors are longer than several weeks, unfortunately. But if you let us know, we can definitely, I can share on the Humboldt Kindness page. We can share on the on our Facebook page that we have for the commission. We can then share on our own page, so we can try to get the word out in our own way, any way we can. With the significant spike in COVID numbers, I personally can't picture doing
Mary,
anything.
I think what we should do is maybe afterwards, you and Nezzy could connect on this, and we definitely want to help participate. But I also want to get Bird's question in so we can get through this agenda, because I think we're going to have a bit of public comment on an agenda item. And I just want to, and I totally appreciate everything you're saying. And I absolutely, I think those are all great ideas if Nezzy's open to working with you on them. But I also want to keep moving through so we can take care of everything. Bird, you had a question.
I just, Nezzy, I didn't get where the event is.
It's usually, for the last probably 2 decades almost, it's been held at the gazebo plaza in Eureka.
Okay. I have to say that I have not seen much publicity about it over the years. I wonder what you're doing in terms of publicity for it.
We haven't done any publicity because we have, my understanding was that we would have to do a COVID plan if we were going to have an event. And it's been the discussion around, do we want to go through doing a plan? I don't think it's a big deal, but we would also have to go through the city of Eureka. And if we just had a candlelight vigil and ask people to distance themselves and put spaces on the ground, we'd have a far better chance of controlling for people being safe than if we tried to do any kind of exchange of food or clothing or any of that.
Okay, thank you.
That was before today. Today, a lot of restrictions came into place in California.
So
That's true.
Nezzy, whatever you guys do, if you could keep us in the loop, because we can participate, we can help promote on our networks and support you in that way. And there might be other ways too. I mean, I can think of a couple businesses that could be reached out to.
So one of the things that I would like to say, because this is all very, as they say, will practically be worked out in the field with the new ordinance about where people can be and can't be. And that is an area that is restricted. So it is really interesting to me. I think we all should watch and see what happens to, traditional things like Homeless Persons Memorial Day when, if we don't have a permit or if we don't do something like that, then certainly they can say, well, no, you can't be here. But if that's what they're requiring, but I don't know that because we haven't really gotten that information. So,
there's a lot of news.
It's very hard. COVID is very hard for everyone, and for nonprofits and that are small like ours. If we live through this, we will be much stronger on the other end. But it is really difficult right now to do all that we do as a largely volunteer organization, and we don't have staff to take up the slack where our volunteers are operating. at quite a commitment. So I'm very happy that we have such wonderful people with us volunteering, and they would do it because they will do it because they're very committed to doing it. But it is something that, you know, everyone is like on pins and needles about what's going to happen in our future with people not wearing masks and not protecting themselves or each other, you know, and not distancing and traveling and all of those things.
So I have this at the bottom of the agenda under new business. And maybe we can have a broader discussion on how we can get to finding new solutions. Because I agree. I think we're in it's a really big discussion right now.
Yeah, well, and there's a lot of big discussions everywhere because, and you being the Human Rights Commission, I'm sure all of the equity issues, all of the, you know, turmoil that we're experiencing with people being displaced and, you know, what people are entitled to for support from their communities. It's very challenging.
Yeah, well, yes, as you know, we have a queue of folks and Eddie left us. I am trying to determine well, I guess we'll just have to open the floor to public comment and see if they're here to speak on an agenda item. But Nezzy, I want to thank you for coming and sharing with us what you guys are doing. I mean, now that we have these new orders, the whole concept of us participating kind of, you know, it's all kind of, let's see what happens. But I think if you could just keep us informed, that we would, as individuals, if we can't officially as a commission, because there's not time, we would really like to support it any way we can.
Well, thanks for having an interest in the folks that are out there trying to suffer through the winter, that are out there, that have been out there a long time. It's something we all need to do in whatever way we can.
Yeah, and I appreciate what you said about what's coming. You know, I think that's why we need to have it. It's on our agenda today as new, because what is coming. Okay, Eddie, thank you, Nezzy. Thank you very much. If you want to stick around for when we do discuss it, that would be great. If not, I understand it's late and you could always pop back in too if you want.
I can hang around for a little while, but I have another meeting. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hopefully you'll participate in the conversation if we open it up in the commission again with us.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. Thank you. Eddie, do you know, I see that we have 2 people in the waiting room. Do you know if they're here to speak on an agenda item or for general public comment? Oh, I can't hear you.
I have commented them, but I haven't got any responses. We can let them in real quick and see, and we can ask them.
All right, why don't we try that? Hello, Octavia. Whoop. All right, I think Octavio is still coming in, and then we have I'm terribly sorry if I mispronounce this. Is it Carpani Burns?
Yes.
Hi, Carpani.
Hi.
Right now, thank you for joining us and participating. Right now is when we open the floor for public comment on non-agenda items. Is there anything that you wish to discuss on a non-agenda item? In 3 minutes.
Are you asking me or everybody?
Yes, Carpani,
Oh,
we're asking
no,
you.
we're asking you. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
No, I have nothing to talk about in the moment. Thank you.
Okay, absolutely. All right, so could you put her back in the waiting room? And Octavio, hi, how are you today? Were you here to speak on something in public comment?
Oh yeah, I just signed in and you called on me and that was crazy. But yeah, Is it the hour for that?
Well, it's the hour if you have something to comment on that is not on the agenda, that's not an item that we already have on the agenda. If you wish to comment on an agenda item, that'll be coming out throughout the meeting as those items come up on the agenda.
Okay. Well, I think my comment is for something on the agenda, which is to designate racism as a public health crisis in Humboldt County, right? Is that on the agenda today?
It is. We have a committee that will speak on that. And thank you. I want to thank you for coming and speaking on it and using your voice. We appreciate it. So hang out with us for a little longer and we will get to that agenda item.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, thank you. We'll put you back in the waiting room.
Thank you.
Eleni, I'm back in business.
All
This is
right,
Larry.
Larry. It's good to see your face. It looks like Lisa's doing good too.
I don't know. Satellite dropped me and now picked me back up. I hope I can stay.
Okay. All right. Our next item on the agenda is Commissioner Communications. Commissioners, do you have anything that you would like to share with us or update us on?
There was one public comment put in via Facebook
Okay.
by KM Ross. Public comment: I am completely disappointed that there's been little progress in the terms of declaring racism a public health issue in Humboldt County. Several other counties in California have declared such, and the fact that the Human Rights Commission in Humboldt County has been silent regarding the issue is surprising. Follow the lead of other counties and make this issue a priority.
Well, I would say that is an agenda item. So I think we'll
Agree with
leave
that.
discussion because we do have a committee that does actually address those issues. So let's hold off on that one until we get to that committee. All right. Any other commissioners? Do you have anything you want to share? Bird.
I just wanted to share something that I saw on YouTube. It was the Goldman Prize, Environmental Prize Awards. Went to 6 people throughout the world, and several of them talked about human rights as part of their projects for environmental projects. And I just thought it was very interesting to watch. And I thought that I would just bring it to everyone's attention. It's very easy to find. Just look for Goldman Environmental Prize Awards.
Yeah, I read that they made a river. They gave a river a human right.
Yes,
which
and they talked about the human rights and how it affects people and how the nature affects people and their human rights. And I just thought that the things that the people who won the prizes talked about was very interesting, and all of it really relates to environmental justice, human rights. So it's a good thing to watch if you have a chance.
Did you watch it online? Is it something that we could share?
It's on YouTube.
Okay,
You just have to look for Goldman Environmental Prize Awards.
Okay. We'll post it in our group. All right, and commissioners, does anyone else have anything they want to share with us or update us on that's not on the agenda? No? All right. Well,
This message line time, or?
It is message line time.
Okay, I had one call on the 1st. I always listen at the end of the day to see if there are any messages. And unfortunately, I listened at about 8 o'clock at night, and the message was from Arcata to give you the Zoom link to go to the Arcata meeting to accept the resolution. And they said they were sending it by email also. And so I hope you got it, Lelania.
No, in fact, I offered for us to participate, and they very specifically told me that we didn't need to.
Okay, well, they were just saying if we wanted to. So,
oh, that was nice of them.
Yeah. So you might want to respond to them and just say that you didn't get the message in time. And I'm sorry, but that's the way I usually do the phone message is I get it in the evening and call the next morning to try, to get people, because I'm not going to try 6 times during the day to get people that day.
You know what you
So
always
I don't know how everybody
tell
does
me,
it.
Bird, is that we do the best we do and we're volunteers and we're just doing the best we can. And I think we do a darn good.
Melania, Melania,
Yes, Larry.
I had the session before Berg came on, and I just want to it was incredibly quiet. I received one phone call from a gentleman that called frequently, a homeless advocate, and he just wanted us to know that he has been withholding his rent for the last 3 months out of complaint because he doesn't feel the county put him in a house or an environment that was appropriate to his handicaps, and they don't seem to be responding to his concerns. So he wanted to let us know, and I'm letting us know. He didn't want any action though. So, and that was the only, as I said, the only call. So.
Bird.
Just one more thing. I know Eddie has upgraded the reporting, and it's very, very easy. Thank you, Eddie. It's just very easy to report your calls, much easier than it was before. So thank you.
We can't hear you, Eddie.
Why am I having issues with that? Yeah, I'm happy that you like that. Yeah, if there's any changes or things we want to add to it, feel free, we can do that. And what I'm gathering is that, you know how we have open cases and closed cases? They're all closed then. Do you agree with that, Chair?
Yes.
Because we have that dashboard, so all the cases will be 0, which is a good.
Fantastic. Yeah. Thank you.
And
I still need to learn how to do it properly though.
Yeah, and I can show you, and basically, and I won't spend too much time, but basically, when you fill that form out, and you probably know that, it goes to a spreadsheet which all of us can see it, which automatically updates the dashboard. So that's all I'm going to say.
Okay, I just don't know how to update it exactly, I don't think.
So basically, you would click on where it says forms on the dash, and you'll see there's where it says open, close, there's a little menu, and you just say close.
Okay, all right. Oh, that's easy. I know how to do that. I thought it was more complex. I was making it harder than it was. All right. So any more message? So that's it. Just those 2 for the message line. Wow. Yeah. Larry, I know when we spoke earlier, you were concerned that we weren't doing enough outreach. We're getting ready to do these listening sessions this month, and I'm hoping that that's going to get more momentum and outreach. I know Mo's not here tonight, but she's done a really good job on getting Access Humboldt to support us. I reached out to KMET. We'll report on that when it's on the agenda, but I think we're going to get some more traction.
Can I jump in for just a second? I'm just concerned that there may be large segments of the population that need very much to interact with us, but really, they're kind of like me. I'm an old dinosaur. I'm just, I'm very much in the slow lane of the old digital highway, and there's a lot of folks out there that may not be, having the access to this. And it wasn't too long ago that when we would run into a period of doldrums where there wasn't much activity, we'd go out and we'd post signs, that said, you've got problems with human rights, give us a call, and had our number. And, we had, in stores, and I mean, there was in the newspaper, we did a lot more, stuff in writing rather than on the digital highway. And I'm just saying that maybe we just need to think of that a little bit more in terms of, accessing that group.
Yes, for our digital meetings, our town hall listening sessions, KMED is going to be promoting a phone number for people to be able to call in, so they can, they can come in on Zoom. They'll be able to call in while we're on the listening session. So KMED is really, as you know, our greatest rural access, and they're going to be very supportive.
Yep.
And one of the
I
things
remember.
that I was going to report, we don't have all the information yet, but we were also invited to host a little call-in show later in this month. I don't have all the details yet, but Bird and David have both agreed to participate with that with me. And I think that's going to help us too. And we'll get, so we're working on it. I agree with you, but everyone's having to transition, you know, Nezzy was just talking about that, but we're going to figure it out. Okay, so now we need some volunteers for February 1st. For the first part of February, the second part of February, and the first and second part of March for the call line. Lisa, can you hear me?
Yes.
So we talked about this when you and I had our little meeting. This is when commissioners, we all volunteer to answer the call line for 2-week time period. And you heard Bird said she checks it in the evening. I don't know when Larry checks it. We all have our little routines, but it's pretty simple. And I can, myself or Eddie or anyone really can walk you through it. But if you would like to volunteer, it's a really great way for a new commissioner to start kind of learning the ropes and learning how we deal with the community and just kind of getting in. And so we're looking for people for, what did I say? February, it's the 1st through the 15th, or the last 2 weeks of February, and then March, the first 2 weeks and the second 2 weeks of March. Marianne, I saw you raising your hand.
I'll do the first 2 weeks of February.
Great, thanks.
And I'll do the first 2 weeks of March.
Okay. Anyone else what do we want to volunteer for the second week of February or the second week of March? I can do the second week of March.
I'll do second week of February.
All right, thanks, Bird.
And I'm done.
Oh, no. I don't like the sound of that.
She's done her share.
Yeah, it's true.
Well,
that is
some other people coming in.
That is true. All right, next on the agenda is our treasurer's report. Mary. Oh,
I was putting that hotline on my calendar right now, or I wouldn't remember it. So not much has changed. Let me get the balance out of here. The balance right now is $756.40. The puppy got the checkbook, but it's okay because I ordered new updated checks that have the right routing number. I wanted to find out, has everybody gone in to do their signatures at Umpqua Bank yet?
No.
It's okay if you haven't, because it's kind of a not super big deal. It's not like all of us are writing checks. It's a big giant company. But once that process is done, then they generate a signature card, and then we all go in and sign that signature card. Also trying to do the online bank account. There was a kerfluffle with trying to figure out what tax ID number to use. And so we had to start over on the online checking account because we had to find a tax ID number that would work for the bank, which we did. So that is in process again. So we're not an ordinary, because no other commission really has a checking account. So it's a little bit of a thing to figure out, but it's all coming together. And I like I said, order new checks, and whenever you guys, all three of you, get your signatures done, go in and show your ID. If you don't bank with Umpqua, if you do bank with Umpqua, they already have your stuff. And I figure by January sometime, everyone will have made it in and we'll get the new signature card generated. Okie doke, that's about it.
Thank you, Mary. Eddie, yes. We can't hear you.
So all we have to do is just go to Umpqua Bank and tell them that, what do I say? I just walk in there and say,
okay, so I sent an email that gave you the phone number of the person to call and set up an appointment with, and you call and set up an appointment, you bring your ID, And if you already bank with Umpqua, you're gonna say, I bank with Umpqua, and if you don't, then you're gonna show your ID so that they create what's called a profile. And then once my profile's already in there, so once the rest of the other 3 of you get your profile done, and it has to be at the bank here on 101 in Eureka, because that's the home office and that's where our signature card lives. So once they're all done, then he'll send me an email saying they're all done and the signature card is ready, and I will email all of you and say, go in whenever you want to sign the card, because he has to make 1 signature card, but not until all the information's in place. It's pretty much
First
that
step is
simple.
check your
So,
email and do the link. Got it.
yeah, I can resend the email if you want, just to bring it up to the top of
That
the
would be great,
food
Mary.
chain.
Yeah, because it's not on my radar, and I've been doing
Yeah.
good with my emails.
That would be
Yeah,
great.
I sent it from the, I'll resend it. I sent it
Thank you.
about, I don't know when, a week or 2 ago. No worries. And then you guys, whenever you come over to Eureka, David, you can take care of your end of it and stuff. And there you go. Yeah, it's quite a little process when you're considered a business like we are. So
Thanks, Mary.
Bird remembers. It was quite a process last year, right, Bird? It was like, what? All right.
Just a quick,
All right, on to,
just a quick.
Yep.
I'm gonna set it up that when your turn to be the person on the phone line, you get an email directly from the spreadsheet. So don't take offense if somebody told you that already. It's just, I want to see if we can automatize it. So don't take
Oh.
offense if you get an email saying, hey, it's your turn to do it. And you just said, I just did it. So that's the deal with that.
oh, that's great, Eddie. All right, let's move on to our committee reports. Correctional Facility Liaison. Ms.
No
Morgan?
calls. So I didn't have to go anywhere. So I haven't done, no.
All right, Mary, did you get that paperwork taken care of so that you were, because we have the female, we had a few calls.
Mine was taken care of a long time ago. I was
Oh,
approved
okay.
a year and a half ago. When Eddie was approved is when I was approved, however long ago that was.
Well, in our last meeting, we discussed how somewhere the paperwork got lost and you said that you would get it turned in.
I don't remember that, but I will call the jail and see if they have it on file, and I'll talk to Jim because
Okay.
I don't remember that discussion, or I would have taken care of
Okay,
that. Sorry
there's
about that.
been some female complaints, and we really need you to be able to have the conversations.
Yeah, and I can. I got the approval from the jail, and I will find where Jim put the copy of it because he sent it to me showing that it was signed and got the little initials.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
Okay.
All
So
right.
yeah, I'll call the jail. Tomorrow's Friday, so I'll call the jail in the morning and make sure, and I'll put it like, I'll make sure, I'll be like, is my liaison paperwork still on file? And blah,
All
blah.
right.
And I'll
Great.
get back
Can
to
I
that.
jump in?
Eddie,
Yeah,
you know.
yes,
Can I
Larry.
jump in? I'm wondering if hopefully we're sending if we have to go in and visit someone in the jail, we're sending 2 commissioners. And the reason that we would be sending, a male and a female, obviously, is that, with, a female is real important. And we've, in the past, we've always had, made it a practice of having 2 commissioners go. So I'm hoping, it's Eddie and we would go with you, Mary.
That was my understanding as well. I just haven't been informed that there were any needs to have visits, so I'm assuming. there
Yeah,
were.
okay. Yeah. All right, thanks.
Aaron?
I have a question for Eddie. Do you think that we should gather some more books? Is the prison, is the jail accepting more book donations?
I don't know. I haven't checked into that. But I could do that. I can call them. Yeah. I thought we were good at all right.
Let me know and I'll go collect some more.
All right.
I've
Fair
got
enough. That
hundreds
sounds
of
good.
them else I'm getting rid of. They can have, they're great, but.
Okay. Any more discussion on this committee? Anything else to report, Eddie?
Nope.
All right. The next committee is our standing committee, the Human Trafficking Committee. Eddie, do you want to report on this or do you want me to?
Well, why don't you go ahead? Did some webpage stuff, but if you have anything to report, I'm good.
There's really not a whole lot to report. We were kind of at a holiday break. We still have that remaining balance of, it's just under $5,000. And that's really where we're at. What we need to do is start getting our information and coming together as a committee and determining whether or not we want to ask for more funds again or how we want to move forward. Bird?
I talked with them at Humboldt Area Foundation, and Sarah's job description's being changed. And I asked specifically if she would still be working with us on this grant, and I did not get an answer yet, but it's possible that she will not be the person that we contact anymore. When I get an answer, I will let you know.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Eddie?
So the thing I have been thinking about the anti-trafficking is we had discussed a long time ago that we'd have an evaluation process and we were going to put that together. And so that's the direction I'm kind of starting to think of. And I think it's in March or, but you know how months just show up all of a sudden. So we need to start thinking in that direction. So I think, is it March or April? I forgot, but that's one thing.
I think it's sooner than that because we normally go to the Board of Supervisors around like June.
Okay.
I think whenever they do the budget. So I think it's a little sooner. I was thinking it was in January is when we would be asking for those reports.
Okay. Well, I think we should have a plan or get something together. So
can you as chair call a meeting and we'll.
I will do that.
And I was hoping that as chair that it would be all right with you if I asked our newest commissioner to join this committee.
I would love that. I think that would be a great idea.
Lisa, would you be willing to take the appointment to participate in the anti-human trafficking committee?
Absolutely.
Right on. Great. All right. We've got a bigger team now, Eddie.
I like that. That's very good.
Okay.
So Lisa, you'll be getting a couple of emails from me, but they're like permissions and things like that. And so don't worry if you see those. Okay, it's just opening different folders and things for you to see.
All right, great, thank you.
So let's meet this month and talk about that report and getting everyone's reports back. I mean, one of them is had an extension, but the other two could definitely give us a final report, I think. All right, on to the next agenda item is the Sanctuary Ordinance Standing Committee. There is nothing to report on that except that that the Racism and Cultural Awareness Committee, are you taking off, Nezzy? Thank you for joining us. It was nice seeing you. That I think the biggest issue with that, which we talked about at the last meeting, is outreach and knowing that if the Latino community even understands how to access this. And I think that what we need as a whole, and this kind of, in my view, goes under the Racism and Cultural Awareness Committee, is to really, as overall as a commission, start getting interpretation and translation in different languages, like this cannabis survey. Like Erin and I have been working on a human rights survey for everyone with just human rights, and having it more accessible. But I think that's something that we've been talking about under the Racism and Cultural Awareness Committee to kind of get more support, so we access more people in their language so they feel safer reaching out to us. And we do have an interpreter that Mo sent, or a name, that someone that we can resource around this. And it's in our files. Okay, on to the next committee is the ad hoc committee. It's the Human Rights Cannabis Inquiry Survey Ad Hoc Committee. Erin, do you want to kind of update the committee on our meeting with the two UC Berkeley doctors, so I don't have to do all the talking?
I can make a stab at it, and then you can take up the rear, whatever.
I'll support you.
Well, we had a couple of meetings. One was with a panel with a couple of experts from UC Berkeley, or associated with UC Berkeley. One's a statistician, and anyway, so we are working with them sort of as consultants and they are going to help, they're helping us with the survey. They fine-tuned some of the language, and they're going to be helping with the stats, dealing with and organizing the data so that we can report it accurately to the Board of Supervisors. So we're currently working on outreach because we have perfected all the questionnaires. And that's what we're doing. We're just looking to do more outreach and reach the people who have been trying to hide for years. So it's kind of hard to reach them, but that's the goal. Okay, did I miss a lot, Lelania?
No, I think you did. I just want to add that we created an updated version, and really all it did, with the advice of the folks from UC Berkeley, we added more demographic information to help us understand those parts of it better. But yes, Bird.
In the minutes from last time, there was one section of the report that you gave about percentages that had to do with people who responded that they had had a human rights violation or issue around cannabis. And I wondered, do you have any idea what those issues were? And if you do, what is it? Is there anything we can do about it or recommend to the Board of Supervisors? Or, I mean, how are we going to use that? Because that's the specific bit of information that I think is critical for us to look at. We're doing this as a commission.
Go ahead, Erin.
I was just going to ask about this because, Lelania, you were asking me, you sent the last one survey that's just about human rights. And you were asking, how can we better assess the situation and figure out what's going on? So, Bird, this is exactly what I wanted to ask people to help explore. How do we ask that? How are the questions? How do we structure the questions so we can get at the answers that we want, that they're understandable? What are the important things? The date that it happened? Who did it? What are the important? How do we craft the questions to get those?
Hold on a second, though, Erin, because these are two separate conversations and two separate surveys, and I don't want to get those confused.
Okay.
Because what Bird is speaking on is the Human Rights Cannabis Survey. What you and I have been working on is a survey that we'll hopefully have on our website all the time for anyone for human rights. So they don't just have to call in, they could actually just fill out a survey online to communicate with us. It's just a way to make us more accessible. So that's on the new business, I think, for that. So let's wait till we get to that part so it doesn't get too confusing. I want to go back to what you were saying, Bird. Oh, and I totally, can you?
Well, I'm just looking at the report that you had.
I know what it was.
Like 40% of these people said that they had an issue around human rights. And I'd like to know what those issues are, and if there is anything we can do about it, how we will go about doing that.
So after we asked that question, we asked for them to give us more specific information if they choose to. So, some are 3 or 4 paragraphs long. Some are just a paragraph long. And at the moment, they're actually kind of diverse. Some people feel that their human rights were impacted because their child was impacted in a negative way. Some people feel their human rights have been impacted because of their property rights and that they've been abated around the new cannabis laws. Some people feel their human rights are impacted because they can smell it and see it all the time. It's pretty interesting and diverse so far, and it's actually one of the reasons that I'm so excited that we have folks that have done this sort of kind of statistical information to help us put it together so it does regurgitate in a way that it's usable information. So we can, as a commission, go, here is something that we can do, or that we can activate. But until this is done, I don't know. We just got a lot of support. International Cannabis Farmers Association has been supporting this. we just got Eureka has just sent all this information out to all of their agencies to help support us. So I think we're going to get a lot more diverse information in the next few weeks, and I think our listening sessions are going to help us. I would really like to see us get 200 respondents, and we're at like 78 or something like that. So but I think we can do it, especially with the support of oh gosh, I can't say his last name, Chief Brian from Arcata. He's the new president of Eureka. Oh, what was that, Larry?
Brian Adler.
Yes,
Brian Adler.
Yes, he's taking Sheriff Hansel's place in Eureka, and he's very supportive of this project and us as a Human Rights Commission. So I think we'll continue to have a good relationship with that organization. Yes, Bird?
So do I understand that you're waiting then till you get more information and help from the people from Berkeley of how we can take these responses and use them in a way to be helpful?
Well, I think so far, the feedback we're getting from Berkeley is that the information as it is, if we walked away from today is incredibly helpful. They were very surprised, very impressed. They felt that we had done a great job. So the data alone is data that hasn't been accumulated yet. The question hasn't been asked. So that alone is helpful. However, what I'm hoping that once we do get this data organized and in a report, that will, because of who we are as a commission, that we're going to see solutions because we have new information.
Okay.
And who knows, I mean, last time we looked at the survey, it stated that 48% of the answering population had been homeless. So who knows what we'll figure out, but I think we'll get more ideas once we see it.
Good, thank you.
Absolutely. Yes, Eddie.
When we get the data, or when we have the data, I love making graphs and mapping things and doing all that statistician kind of stuff. So I'm looking forward to help in that area.
Okay, well, we'll get you and the guy from Berkeley together if you can make it pretty for us. Awesome.
But you can understand it, yeah.
Yes. Well, we want the Board of Supervisors to be able to understand it so it's usable for them. We did discuss printing out some flyers to distribute to grow shops that Mary volunteered to print out. I fell short on that last weekend, but I got her the file to print out. I think it was yesterday or not, just a few days ago, and we'll get that to happen because I think that's a great resource. And that is where the Human Rights Cannabis Survey is at. Commissioners, we really could use everybody's support online with this survey. Your social media, a couple of us have really good social media, and we're also diverse, that we need diverse input. So the more you guys support this online, the more we're gonna get input for it. All right, the next item on our agenda is the Kindness Committee. Mary? Oh, we lost her.
She was too kind.
She was too kind. We're coming, I'll give a small report. We're coming to the end of the Kindness Committee, the hashtag Humboldt Kindness Committee. And I think the next steps are going to be to put a report together because the committee ends in January. Yes, Bird.
I had something I wanted to bring up in the senior news, the December senior news from the Senior Resource Center. Dr. Jennifer Heidman, I think her name is, who's the doctor there in the PACE program. She was giving a number of things that to help people get through the pandemic and being sheltering in place and all of those things. And 3 of them had to do with kindness. And it seemed to me that this would be something the committee might want to acknowledge with her and thank her for, to say, this is what we want to see. You've helped us with our campaign. So is that something that somebody could do?
I love that. Well, I mean, maybe what we could do, Mary, is discuss creating an award to hand out in January.
We had discussed that before, and it's kind of just, but Bird, could you put me in touch with this person?
Send what?
Can you put me in touch with that person? Forward me an email or a phone number or something?
Yeah, I'll send the email. She's from the Senior Resource Center.
Oh, I love the
I
senior.
think before you reach out to her though, Mary Ann, you should have a strategy and a game plan to articulate that and come back to the commission saying this is the award we would like to.
I don't want to give an award. I just want to call her and thank her and let her know that that's all. Just the awards can come later, but I think that it's timely for me to just call and say, wow, Bird told me about this and I think that's awesome, and just give her.
Find yourself a copy of the Senior News.
Well, I will, because I get one every month because my granddaughter has to cut the puppies out of.
Take a look at it and read her article. You'll see that she's got kindness in there, and kindness to others and kindness to yourself. And it just struck me that it's exactly the kind of thing that we want people to be doing and to be thinking about with the Kindness Committee. That's what you set it up for. So let's tell her thank you.
Exactly. Thanks for bringing that up, Bert.
Thank you.
Mary, why don't you call a meeting for the committee this month so we can meet? Thank you. All right.
Okay.
All right. Let's Mary, you stepped out, so we just do you have anything that you want to add to this agenda item?
I've been trying to get a little bit more proactive. I'm feeling a little bit less completely frazzled as a full-time teacher, not losing my mind every day anymore. So I'm trying to have a little bit stronger social presence. So if anybody's on Facebook and they'd like to go to the hashtag Humboldt Kindness, to the Humboldt Kindness Facebook page, anytime they see something cool, and if you put it there, I will approve it. And also, if you see something on that page, share it, and just use hashtag Humboldt Kindness as much as you can on any of your social medias, because then I find those posts and I'll link them to the page as well. So I'm really trying to reinvigorate that so that as we're moving into next year, definitely kindness does go farther than not. And I think that's exactly what that article probably is about, Bird. When you treat people kindly, you're going to feel better during these crazy.
Marianne, do you know how to use Kavana? Because you could also make a whole bunch, or Canva, I think is what it's called. You could make a whole bunch of memes and schedule them, but we can talk about that at the meeting.
Canva, I'll look at.
I could make a bunch of memes for you. And
I'll add it to my list along with the 35 different programs I used to teach my students.
Oh, it's not like that. It's I can do it for you.
Well, I don't mind. Just send it to me and I'll do it. You do a lot already. I'll take it on.
Thank you. All right.
CANVA.
Yeah. What I'll do is I'll make a file and I'll link you into mine, so it's really easy and you don't have to do anything.
Okay. Thanks for offering.
Right. Absolutely. Okay, let's move on to the next agenda. Does anyone have any questions or any discussions? Lisa, as a new commissioner, what we're doing is we've been going around and we're using the hashtag. You can see it in my emails and other commissioners' emails. We're using it online. Anytime you see an act of kindness or anything online or happening, take a picture, post it, repost it. If you see someone, your friend did something, post that. Use the hashtag. We also have a Facebook group that we're reposting it in so we can kind of track it.
Originally it was the Anti-Hate Committee, and it was based on different acts that had happened at schools and different things here in our community and other places. In the Anti-Hate Committee, we decided just brings up, you have to think of the antithesis, anti-hate, you think of hate. So we just decided a while back to just rename it the Kindness Committee, and instead of focusing on getting mad at people who are doing hateful activities, just focus on people who are doing kind activities and flip the script completely. So that's kind of how the committee was born, Lisa. So it became the Kindness Committee instead of the Anti-Hate Committee, so that we're not We're not two sides of that hate coin. We're just a totally different coin now. We're at kindness.
Yeah, I could
Love
see
it.
you and the Anti-Racism and Cultural Awareness Committee doing a little campaign together. All right, let's move on. Any other anything else on that item, agenda item? No? Okay. Let's move on to the next agenda item, which is the Racism Cultural Awareness Ad Hoc Committee. Our chair of that committee, Carol Larson, is unfortunately ill and has really been kind of unable to participate. So I would like to ask today that committee member David Haney, if he would be willing to step forward as chair of that committee.
Yes, indeed, I absolutely would.
Thank you, David. I really appreciate that. I would also, before I pass the mic over, like to request that as chair, if you would be okay with me appointing Commissioner Sundberg to that committee.
Yes, indeed. Do we, I have a quick question. I'm sorry to hold up the process. Do we need to vote on any of this or anything at all?
I don't think so. Nope.
Got it.
You can just appoint, but
I'll jump in
I'm
for a
being
second.
bossy.
Nobody disapproves or anything like that.
if we extended the time for an ad hoc committee, then we would have to vote on that. But if changing the people there, I don't think we need to vote on that.
Yeah, and I think as chair, I can just appoint if, I know it's okay with everybody. And of course, I would love anyone to object if they feel necessary to have that discussion. But I'm just trying to move things along quickly. So Lisa, I know we discussed this again at our earlier meeting, but do you accept the appointment as committee member to the Racism and Anti-Racism and Cultural Awareness Committee?
I do. Thank you.
Thank you. All right,
So,
David. Yes.
So we have some comments, and I don't know where to put them in.
Well, let's give David an opportunity to catch us up on what the committee has been doing, what he's been doing, because he's been a part of the committee. And then if he has any action, we can move on that and then open the floor to discussion. And if he doesn't have any action, we'll open the floor for discussion. So David, you have the floor.
Excuse me, but if we're going to take action, we should open the floor to the public before we take action.
Right, but first he needs to request the action, right?
Yes.
Okay.
We should not take a vote on something. If we're asking for input from the public, we should
Right.
listen to it before we take action.
Right. I must have said that bad. That's what I meant. But I need David to ask us first, is what right. So David, would you like to? I know we had a couple things come up last month, and one was the failing grade report from ACLU, and then there was a couple other things that you guys were up to. Do you want to update us on what's going on?
Absolutely. Thank you all. So one of the things that was supposed to happen in the month of November was this ad hoc committee was set to meet with the tribe, and that unfortunately, I believe it was the Eureka tribe, unless I'm wrong, and that unfortunately did not happen. They were busy with other things, and so we're looking at having that rescheduled. So we are currently in communication with Carol, who's coordinating that. And so we're waiting to hear back from her. I'm going to follow up with Carol and copy the rest of the committee, if that's okay, to follow up, because we haven't heard back from her in about a week on that. And I think that they were trying to reschedule it for, in the next, 3 to 4 weeks here. So we just want to have it in front of us when they want to meet. Mm-hmm.
David, you might want to see if you, just because I know Carol might not be responding to an email right now or anything. So I would definitely reach out to her. But if you don't hear back from her, I would then reach out to the tribe.
Got it. Got it.
And I can support you
Can I
too.
jump in?
Yes, Larry.
I was going to suggest perhaps Lisa could, uh, jump in for us, being a Native American that in the community of Humboldt. I just thinking that might, she may know some of those folks. In fact, I might also, I think our Toby Vander, I can't
Landingham.
pronounce his, has now been elected to the tribal council up there. So he's definitely going to be a real asset to us, I believe. Okay, that's all.
Thank you,
I'm
Larry.
done.
So, yeah, I was gonna say Carol is on our board of directors at United Health, and so, not on the board, but she is the board assistant, so I'm in communication with her pretty often, so we need any support there, and I can help coordinate whatever we need to do with the Yurok tribe. As I'm Yurok and I'm related to a lot of them.
Thank you, both of you. Thank you for stepping in for Carol, David, and thanks for being a part of the committee.
Absolutely.
All right.
I'm happy to.
And I'm sure you have more to discuss.
Yes. So then moving on, right, to the ACLU's failing grade report, right? We discussed this briefly at the last meeting, and now here we are. In the meantime, since that last meeting, we've received quite a few public comments via email from people in Humboldt County. What I was going to do here was basically read them. There were a few that were unique, and then there were some that were basically, it looks like the same email was sent by multiple people. And so I was just going to read these public comments aloud during the meeting here.
But before you do that, David, would you make sure that those aren't any of the people that have come to speak? Do you know if is there any?
Yes, the only one that would be here that did come to speak, I believe, was Octavio Acosta, who represents Centro del Pueblo.
Okay, so read them. He's not here right now, so I would read that still then.
Okay, thank you. So the first letter, or the first public comment that was sent in, this was sent in from David Cobb. It says, "Dear members of the Humboldt County Human Rights Commission, I'm writing on behalf of Cooperation Humboldt, a local agency dedicated to ensuring that everyone's needs are met without destroying the ecosystem. This is often described as a solidarity economy where we put people and planet before profit. In our work, we repeatedly witness the systemic racism that permeates our community. As you have probably seen, the recent report from the ACLU of Northern California's titled Failing Grade describes and documents the profoundly different realities that Indigenous, Black, and other people of color face in this community. We believe that the first step to addressing the scourge of white supremacy and racism is to acknowledge it. An important step would be to join the growing movement in the United States to explicitly and unapologetically acknowledge that racism is a public health crisis in our county. We encourage the Humboldt County Human Rights Commission and the Humboldt County Board of Supervisors to issue a proclamation to acknowledge racism as a public health crisis in Humboldt County and to lay out a framework for change in our community. We look forward to collaborating with you to address this critical matter." And David Cobb provided his phone number, which I, of course, will not repeat. The next letter I have here is from a Eureka resident by the name of, and pardon me if I mispronounce any names, Jessica Chaudano. Says, "Good morning. Please, since racism is on the agenda, vote, declare Humboldt County racism a public health crisis. From the DA and her department down through the police departments and certainly to the general public, racism exists. Please help stop the spread. It's on the agenda. Vote now. Humboldt racism is a public health crisis." We received an email from a community member by the name of Ann Brock Katz. She wrote, Dear Humboldt County Human Rights Commissioners, for over 30 years as a white resident of Humboldt County, I know the privilege I have received because of the color of my skin and how my BIPOC community members have taken the brunt of too many racially charged actions affecting their health and safety. The last one that I'm going to read here is the email that we received from multiple people. And so I'll read it and then read off the names of the people that sent this in. The issue of anti-Indigenous racism in Humboldt County has a long history in Humboldt County. The ACLU of Northern California's recent report, Failing Grade, has shed even more light on the topic. Indigenous students and community members face disparities in terms of treatment. Number one, treatment. Number two, access to educational and health resources. And number three, outcomes. This legacy of racism has and continues to have negative effects on the health and lives of our community members. This cannot stand. We need to acknowledge the issue of racism as a public health crisis in our county and pledge to make changes to how our county operates. The Humboldt County Board of Supervisors should create a proclamation to assert the issue of racism as a public health crisis in Humboldt County. This proclamation should lay out a framework for change in our community that addresses better outcomes for BIPOC community members. And the county must move forward with making the changes in the proclamation a reality. We can start to heal our communities and reverse these disparities if we act now. Thank you. And that email was received from, and again, I apologize if I mispronounce any names, Yamo Aka from the Kashia Band of Pomo Indians and Mountain Lion Waters. We also received it from Thomas Joseph, Lynn Wolf, Centro del Pueblo, Ruthie Engelke of Cooperation Humboldt, Oscar Mongayon, staff Cooperation Humboldt, Jasmine Segura, John Webb, Chelsea Pulliam, Wendy Savage.
Thank you, David.
If I can say something, I'd like to say that the systematic racism stuff is coming up even at the higher levels. As you know, I'm with the Tribal Advisory Committee with NIH, and it's inside the whole operation of how government operates, as we're noticing it there too and addressing it. So it's not just a local thing, it's, you know, we're recognizing it national as tribes and Native people. So
hang on just a minute, Eddie.
Yes, we have a couple of people that are guests, and I was wondering when
I
you
see that. Just let's.
Fair enough. Go.
Marianne.
Can we have a motion to say that the Human Rights Commission consider, I just am wondering if we can move to say that tonight.
I believe what would be the proper way to go about this would be for the committee to meet.
Okay.
And then come back to us as a commission with that request.
With a motion.
Am I
Okay,
correct in that, Bird?
Because we couldn't just come out and say it tonight. They'd have to go talk about it and come back.
No, we already have a committee that can go and discuss it. And we've got a lot of community that maybe they could come to a meeting and we could have a discussion around it that was effective with community input, because, you know, this is a county meeting that is through, you know, we have to follow the Brown Act, and in an ad hoc committee, we can move a lot more flexibly and engage with the public more.
So that they could come together and work on creating a statement that they could present to the Board of Supervisors.
Correct. Bird.
Got it.
The ad hoc committee should meet and come with a recommendation to the full commission, which would come in the nature of a motion with a second, and then the committee could discuss again and public could discuss again, and then we could vote on it.
All right, any other commissioner? Yes, Larry. Oh, I see you, Aaron.
I was just going to say, you know, that's last letter or last email indicates to me that there is a large, diverse community that has put in a lot of energy into this. And we need to figure out how to tap that as we move towards a proclamation from the board. And the one other thing that I kind of jumped out at me that they didn't mention was access to training and employment. I think are two other really critical issues that stand out to me in terms of our Native American population. So anyway, and you're right. I think most of this to be done in the ad hoc committee moving forward. But yeah, I couldn't help but jump in. Sorry.
All right, Aaron, did you have something to say? And then I'd like to open the floor to the public.
I did. I was wondering, since we were looking for the public's input on this, maybe, I don't know if it would be the appropriate forum to discuss it at one of our listening sessions.
Yes, I mean, that is, but I also think this deserves its own meeting so that we can, so this committee can take some action, and the community that emailed us and that's going to participate this evening is able to help support whatever that committee decides to move forward with, and maybe build it. Like Bird was saying, I think that could make for a really strong proclamation if we had so much diverse input. All right, so we have some of our public here. Let's start with, hello, Octavio. Thank you for joining us. You have 3 minutes to address the commission.
Hello, thank you so much for having me. My name is Octavio Acosta, and I work with Centro del Pueblo here in Humboldt County. And a large part of the work that we do is trying to work on changing the systematic, systems of oppression and all the trauma that has caused on our community members, our Latinx and Southern Indigenous communities. And and even on a personal level, every day when I'm a brown-skinned man, so every day when I walk out, I always have to put on a shield and get ready to face some sort of microaggression. And this is, this is something that the BIPOC community understands. We all understand how Humboldt is. We all, some of us just say, oh, that's just how Humboldt is, and other folks, live a life of just constant battle after battle, and the worst part comes when elected officials or our local government supports racism, and we see this with Sheriff Hansel and with Supervisor Rex Bone, just some examples. And a lot of it comes from ignorance and just not understanding what it is to be a colored person in Humboldt County, and the history of racism that has not been dealt with or talked about. And there's been no truth or reconciliation on this and the history, and I think this does a huge disservice to not just the BIPOC community, but to the white community as well. And I think that there is a lot of healing to be done, and I think that it's a first step, to acknowledge racism as a public health crisis in Humboldt County. And that's it.
Thank you for coming and speaking with us today. And I'm hoping that David has your contact information and can invite you to participate in the committee conversation, because it would be greatly valued. So thank you for using your voice today.
Octavio, if you put it in the comments area, we can make sure you get it. So if you just write it in right now, we can get it too.
All right.
We should invite him to, or how do we invite him to the ad hoc committee
That David will take care of that, and what he'll have to do is make sure that we have his contact information. And Octavio, our email is on our website in case you lose or need it. It's always there. You can email us there. And
Octavio just sent us his email.
Okay, perfect. All right. Next up, we have Mario Fernandez. Hello, Mario. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Yes, thank you for having this discussion tonight. Hi, Marianne. Very similar to Octavio's experience. I can echo that. I myself am a light-skinned Latino, Chicano particularly. So while I don't deal with microaggressions daily, I have in the past just based on my cultural heritage, my ethnicity, let alone my name. The legacy of racism continues and the negative effects are present in our community on the health and lives of those in our community members who are of color. It's very real during this time of COVID. Latinos, Chicanos in particular are those that are seeing the brunt, sharing the brunt of the epidemic as it's going through California. And that's just one aspect of health right there. We could talk about the socioeconomic status all evening going into the next day. And simply put, it just can't stand any further. I acknowledge what you said earlier, Lisa, where it's being talked about at the national level, and we want to see it reflected here in our community, here locally. We need to acknowledge the issue of racism as a public health crisis in our county and its effects within the community. Declaring racism as a public health crisis is happening in other counties and other municipalities, with Sacramento being the most recent in California. In California alone, 22 other municipalities have declared racism a public health crisis, in addition to cities and counties in 26 other states. So as the Human Rights Commission, it's well within your authority to request the Board of Supervisors declare. I would like to use stronger language and say demand, but we have to ask. But for a public health crisis, and you're charged with the eradication of discrimination, I would assume that's in all of its forms. Proclamation from the County Board of Supervisors should lay out a framework for change in our community that addresses better outcomes for BIPOC community members. It would hold our local and county leadership accountable for dismantling systemic oppression and to start to heal our communities and reverse the disparities. I understand that you might be putting together something with the Committee on Racism here. And so I know that we have some members. I myself am a school board member. I'm the vice chair for the Humboldt County Democrats. So I know I can help put the feelers out for people who would be committed to making that happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Mario. Thank you very much for coming and using your voice and offering your energy into this mission. If we don't have your email already, please make sure we do so that we can ensure that you know when this ad hoc committee will meet this month. Bird.
I just wanted to say to Mario that we do have, I lost my train of thought, so sorry.
We'll forgive you, Bird. It's late for all of us.
Well, I did have something. I'll get you. I'll think about it, Mario. I'll send you an email.
Yeah, don't worry. It's not like I had mine written down on another screen here. I appreciate it, Bird.
All right. Any other, and do we have any more public comment around this agenda item?
I do not see any.
Commissioners, do you have any last comments on this agenda item? David.
Thank you all. I want to thank the commission for creating this space for this discussion. I want to definitely thank all the community members that emailed in. And I especially want to thank the community members that just spoke, Octavio and Mario. Personally, to be as relaxed as I can possibly be with this, to have read this ACLU report as a commissioner on the Human Rights Commission for this county, to read this report, it's embarrassing, to be honest. And I think that this community has a need to really prioritize this issue. And I've seen some good things already spur in the community from this report. From what I'm understanding, there are school districts already that have looked to and have increased their full-time hiring of nurses or health officials in schools, right, to help with this. There's a lot of positive momentum and need for change around this. And I think that if we can come together as a community, bring in the tribes, bring in the appropriate stakeholders, we can really get a solid proclamation, if that's the way we're going to go, that will really reflect what's happening, really make it clear why racism is a public health crisis, and something that the Board of Supervisors would really, have to, pass, because there's a need, and we've got to make this better for the students. I can't imagine as if I was an Indigenous, community member around here after reading that report, how I personally feel. I mean, it's almost makes you feel as if portions of, the community are against you. And it's just really that kind of anti-Indigenous racism, like other racism that exists in the county, where it can be subtle, but it's there and it's felt, and so I want to thank you all for your time.
Well, I want to thank you, David. I'm looking forward to seeing what this committee is going to do with your leadership, and seeing some fire. Bird, and then Mary.
What I wanted to say for Mario, and also for the rest of the commission, he said that he wanted to demand, but we had to ask. We can do more than ask. We can recommend. That is one of the things that we can do. And I think we should make it a strong recommendation, which comes close to demanding, without using the word demand, which can be a trigger word.
Mary.
I was just going to make a real quick comment. As a teacher, I'm blessed to have a degree in teaching hard history. And the more we teach the hard history, the more we will be able to move forward. So I hope that when you're looking at the committee and looking at the ACLU report and looking at other things, that it's hard to teach the history without somebody walking away feeling guilty about past sins. And it's a hard thing to do, but until the history is taught honestly, it'll just continue. So I look forward to finding out what we can do educationally and locally.
Yes, growing up here and being raised in a biracial family and going to high school on the reservation, have to say that I'm excited to have this discussion in the community. I think a lot of us have seen a lot of what is being discussed. And this is the first time in my life here, and I'm 50 years old and been here a long time, that we've had this open of conversations about this issue. So I look forward to it.
I do have something. I wasn't sure if you saw my hand.
Go ahead, Larry. I think Lisa was before you, and then we'll give you some. All right, Lisa.
I'm excited to come in on the commission at this time. I kind of feel like we're in a time of history of change, and COVID has done something unique to the whole world. And it not only exposed broken systems, but I think it's softened, even though there's these critical divides with all of the knowledge that's being exposed, how we're getting targeted by social media to, where foreign countries are trying to use it to influence and divide us more amongst ourselves. We as communities have to find ways to connect with each other and support and uplift each other. And I'm excited to be here at this time because this kind of discussion is difficult, and my mom's family, they had to get a white person to buy their house for them. That was a family friend because they couldn't even own it. Was just the thought of a native owning real estate. So my mom felt it a lot more than I experienced it. But it's there. I see it. I see, and I sometimes I don't like to think that it's there, but it is. But to come out with solutions is going to be critical, because it doesn't. What good is it to continue to discuss these things when we don't have something to a way out of it that can put it behind us and come out with something where we're collectively working together as a community, and regardless of color, but we have to acknowledge it. And I will tell you from being on a board of directors of a clinic that we're seeing it directly tied to behavioral health. It is a health crisis, absolutely, hands down, hard stop. So I support this work, and I look forward to having people be a part of the discussion and coming up with something valuable for our whole entire community. And there you go. Thank you.
Thanks, Lisa. Larry.
Yeah, I was just thinking that to Marianne's comments that the county schools, not only in terms of history, but in terms of racial differences and how to and there's a lot the county schools could do. So I'm thinking that the ad hoc committee could or should possibly focus on that as well as the board of supervisors, because I think county schools could make some real significant changes in that respect for sure. Anyway.
Yeah.
I'd actually agree with that if I could.
To working on this ad hoc committees. David, I really appreciate your energy, and I think we can go a long ways with it. So anyway, yeah.
Thank you, Larry. I agree. And just to add on to that really quickly, interestingly, in the research that I've done, once we started getting these emails about racism as a public health crisis, I found out that a school board in a city called Ferndale, not our Ferndale, of course, but Ferndale in Michigan, actually that school board declared racism a public health crisis, and then set a framework into place to get it addressed and make changes. Right. So you're right on with that.
Nice. All right, any more comment before we move on to our next agenda items? We still got a bit to chew through here, gang. Thanks for hanging in there, everybody. I'll try to get through the rest pretty quickly. That was just, I think, an important discussion to have. So it sounds like, just to round this out, David, is that you're going to call a meeting pretty quickly, and you're going to invite members of the public that have already given their voice. And I think we all look forward to seeing what you guys come back to us with next month.
Thank you. It's going to be very interesting.
Yes, well, good. We like interesting around here. All right, let's move on to our next committee, which is the Citizens Observer Ad Hoc Committee. Eddie and Larry, do you guys have anything to report?
Larry put some work into the committee.
All right.
Yes. Do you want to talk about that? You said about the things that we need to do, that list. Do you want me to read that out, Larry, or do you want to talk about it?
Go ahead. You as the chair, if I'll fill in if you.
There you go. So it's a busy time during the Christmas, especially in the retail area, but we've had some communication, and what we're aiming at is creating a proposal to the supervisors and providing a history of the prior neutral observers, and then a detailed protocol, and requesting a specific amount of funds for the commissioners and training, and getting the.
Let me jump in.
Yeah.
I think what the commission as a whole needs to consider is, do we as commissioners want to act as neutral observers, and if we do that, that would require, a significant commitment on the part of at least 2, if not 4 commissioners to act, in that capacity. And, we're willing to, take the training necessary and be on call. The other option that we have is if the commission isn't willing or isn't ready to go down that path, is to and we know that there are other community folks out there that are working towards this as well, in that maybe, you know, we could simply act or have commissioners volunteer to be liaisons to one or more of the organizations that are developing independent observer programs. Is that about it, Eddie?
Yep, I agree with that.
That's where we stand. You know, I mean, again, from past experience, you know, it requires a big time commitment on the part of the observers. You know, it's not something you do between 5 and 8. You know, you're out at 3 o'clock in the morning sometimes. So it's, you know, that kind of a commitment that is necessary to really fulfill that role and do it in a professional manner that, you know, the Board of Supervisors and the sheriffs, everybody can, you know, feel comfortable with. You know, it's a big challenge. So anyway, I wanted to just throw that out, and I don't know if this is the time to make the decision which way we want to go, but I think you know, that's kind of,
Well,
you know, that's my feedback.
The liaison makes sense to me because we all, because of the commitment, and we're already tight on that as volunteers, but it sounds to me it's like something that you guys as a committee still need to work through. Bird had a comment, and then Aaron.
Yes, I would like to see the committee come back with a recommendation, probably that we not do this, but that we support other groups in the community that are doing this.
Right. Okay.
Fair enough.
That's what I was going to suggest. Or even if we want to get more involved, we could contact the National Lawyers Guild. And Eddie, I sent you another article recently that seemed pretty on. So we could take an interim middle ground, which is we could support a training. And just organize a training of anybody in the community who wants to participate.
That's what I was going to suggest too. Good suggesting, Aaron.
Because
I think it's free too.
I read the article, Aaron, that you sent me, and that made me think of, you know, we may want to have only attorneys be out there on the Observer. I think that's the wrong way to go. But I like the idea of just having supporting it and having a diverse group of people, but maybe certifying it, saying, hey, we support these groups, and that's where we make our mark. But I do think this commission, or this ad hoc committee, has some time to go and doing some research. So it's going to take some time, and it's going to be a little bit on the back burner, but I think it has a lot of potential. But I do like the idea of supporting other committees, and us maybe being one of the bodies that's certifying, is saying, hey, we trust this group of people to do this kind of business.
Sounds interesting. Anyone else? Any more discussion? Shall we move on to the next topic, which is the Digital Accessibility Ad Hoc Committee? Eddie.
You know, haven't made any big progress. You know, done little things here and there, but yeah, our ultimate objective is to give a document to the Board of Supervisors, saying, hey, look at all the great stuff that we've been accomplished through digital accessibility, being the listening sessions, being all the different gadgets that we have to organize ourselves and everything like that, and just saying, hey, when we make these things accessible to the public, when we use the technologies that are available and the techniques, look how much more human rights ability that we have, and communicating ability. And so that's the bottom line.
Have you gotten a chance, or could you get a chance to look over because I believe that they're making some changes to the Brown Act that have to do with digital accessibility? Yes,
and actually I was trying to get a speaker, and I was communicating with him to come and talk to us for this.
Oh, right on.
But that's I'm still pushing that. I talked to him via Facebook. There's a couple other people, but yes, there's some movement. Was it you that sent me the article? Somebody sent me something, and I actually contacted the person, and I was trying to get them onto this meeting. But yes, there's a lot of stuff going on, especially in Sacramento, of changing the Brown Act after all the experiences we've had during the pandemic.
One of the things that came up on my radar, and I think this was with Sean McLaughlin, and maybe you guys have already discussed this, is that we need to make sure that we're ADA And so when we put our videos up on YouTube, there needs to be closed captions. I don't know how to do that with the live stream, but it can be done with the YouTube.
Yes, and I think that's why it's really important for us to put it on YouTube, even though it's not immediate.
Right.
But yeah, it's one of those compromises that we've made right now. But that's why when it goes on YouTube, anybody can see it. And we usually have it the next morning, which is not great, but it's what we can do at the moment.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I think a board of supervisors sometimes takes a little time, so we're all right, I think. All right, any questions, any discussion, anyone for Eddie in the committee? All right, let's move on to, oh yes, it's our last committee discussion, town hall listening sessions ad hoc committee. I will be brief, but kind of not. Where do I start? So we're doing these listening sessions right now. We're scheduled for the 10th, the 11th, and the 12th. The reason I say right now is because so far we have a board of supervisor on the 11th and 12th, but we don't on the 10th. So one of the things that I thought maybe we should determine as a commission is, should we cancel the 10th event and just do the 11th and 12th? Because since these are digitally in a call-in show through KHUM and on Access Humboldt, we really don't need to have one for each part of the community. Mary?
Have we reached out to the new commissioner who was just declared yesterday by vote? Maybe she'd want to be part of the listening since Fennel is out and the new commissioner is in.
No, but that was the next thing I was going to ask. Yes, Bird.
You said cancel the 10th. I thought it was the 11th where you needed people.
No, we have all the commissioners covered. It's the board. We don't have a board of supervisor for the 11th.
Oh,
we have one for the other 2 days, but not for the 10th. And then as I was thinking about it, it was like, well, we kind of don't need this many.
Right.
And it's not too late to cancel it because we're just going to start really pushing PR out this next week. So I that's something I'd like to put to vote when we're ready. There's more to discuss, but whether we should cancel the 10th and just focus on the 11th and 12th.
I would second that. I would totally second that. I do second that.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Okay, so all those in favor for canceling the 10th meeting, please raise their hand. All right, we've got Bird, Dubois, Haney, Marianne, Larry, Aaron, Morgan, and Sundberg. Any nays? No. Any abstentions? No.
Whose dog wants out? I keep hearing a dog scratch.
I'm dog sitting. She wants in.
Well, go let her in real quick. Go do it.
She's all right. She's just been out for a few minutes.
That's me. I have a 7-month-old puppy attacking me while I'm trying to have the meeting. I feel you.
Hang on, girl. All right. So what we will do is I'll kind of adjust the schedule. So what that'll consist of is then on the 11th, we have myself, Sundberg, Bass, and Sheriff Hansel. We do have room for 2 more commissioners on that day, if anybody would like to join us. And then on the 12th, it's Bird will be moderating, and myself, Haney, and Rowe, and then Madrone, Supervisor Madrone is participating. The sheriff and the supervisors will be coming on at 12. We will be coming on at 10, and we'll be going through our agenda items. Anyone can have a discussion with us at that time. Then we will take a break, and that'll be our town hall meeting. Even if no one comes for that town hall meeting, it matters because it's going to be aired on Access Humboldt. It can be reused over and over again. And it also, I haven't heard back from KMUD KMUD yet, but they're gonna either on Saturday or Friday, they're gonna also try to give us some live airspace as well. Yes, Bird.
On the agenda, we have the current agenda items. And as the moderator, I need to know who is going to be speaking on each one of those things. There's the human trafficking, sanctuary, racism and cultural awareness, digital accessibility, and cannabis.
So once we get our own personal agenda, now that we switched the dates, what we'll do is we'll see whoever's participating, and whoever is the most, understanding of that agenda item. So Eddie should speak on you and Eddie should be speaking. Well, you won't be because you'll be moderating, but on the digital accessibility committee. We'll just do it in that order, but like I said, what we'll do is we're going to have a production meeting. So we're all really comfortable on how this is going to happen. And tomorrow I'll start getting those dates dialed in for us because we have to have it pretty quickly next week. So we all feel really comfortable. Do you guys want, yes, Eddie?
So when you say a production meeting, in my mind, that means like a dry run. Is that what you're saying a little bit? Perfect.
Yep. Just with us. Because as Bird was mentioning, we need multiple roles. So we have a moderator. I'll be the moderator on Friday, and Bird will be the moderator on Saturday. Then we need someone, we'll record these, but we still need someone taking notes and tracking the conversation. And then we need someone who is a digital moderator or producer, right? Who's watching the social media and the chat here. We can divvy those roles up once we know who's attending the meetings, and then we'll be like, okay, this person, I like doing this, I don't like doing this. But until we know, I'd really like to see 2 more people sign up for Friday. Yes, Marianne? You're willing to?
Yeah, I'm signed up. I thought I had already a long time ago when you put out the first sheet. I'll sign up again Friday.
Okay, cool. All right. What I'll do is I'll resend all those out tomorrow when I do all my catch up from tonight, and see if we can't get all that dialed in the next couple days. All right. Any questions? I feel like I'm missing something major around this. Erin, do you have anything to add?
No?
Let me just, I mentioned Access Humboldt, I mentioned KMUD, and yep, that's really it. That's what I wanted to show you guys. There's some outreach materials that would be really great if everybody could share them on their social media that are involved in social media, and that is for this meeting.
It's been easy to share on Facebook. I've already shared it a couple times on my page.
Great. Cool. You can just take it from our page and reshare it. But the more diverse support we get on that, and Lisa, you have a great community base too. The more diverse support we get on that on social media, the better. And then the second half is going to be a lot different. It is going to be, we will very briefly, whoever's participating will give a brief introduction of themselves as a commissioner. So you'll be speaking as a commissioner in that meeting, not what you do and all that good stuff. And then whoever else is participating, whether it be Sheriff Hansel or a Board of Supervisor, they'll also get a brief moment to introduce themselves and say something. And then we're asking the community, what is the state of human rights in Humboldt County? And we're going to hear from them. The committee started shoot, I should have brought that up. Sorry, you guys, I'm getting more now. We started kind of some starter questions that we could ask. Not that we would actually ask them, but we could use them in our outreach to help stimulate. Because what we realized, Aaron and I were talking about this, that, you know, we feel like a lot of people don't even completely understand what their human rights are. And how can we help them understand that? And so this is, I'm gonna put this on screen share really quick here. What we came up with as some kind of like setup questions. Where do you feel the state of human rights stands in Humboldt County? Do you feel your rights have been violated? What rights do you see violated in Humboldt County? Do you know someone whose rights have been violated? Do you have ideas for solutions to improve the state of human rights in our community? Do you feel your concerns are being heard? And then we would post something like, come, use your voice, town hall listening sessions, Humboldt County Human Rights Commission. And obviously we just jotted these down really fast, but if you guys have any suggestions, they would be much appreciated. The idea is that we're going to use this in our social media and in our emails that we send out. So it'll help stimulate people understanding maybe where their rights have been violated, along with adding this list of what we put in the survey to show what the human rights are. Any questions?
Bell, who's WHOSE, no apostrophe in it.
Oh, Bird, it's not done. There were so many mistakes on there.
Don't you worry, Bird. We'll send it to you before we put it out.
You bet.
I'll prove it for you.
I just have a comment just in the list. To you know, when we make our list, also I did see that one line about solutions, but it's such a huge thing. You know, it's one thing to identify things, but we've got to collectively come up with a better plan. And I hope to learn from a lot of other communities that have maybe even figured some of this stuff out. I'd like to not have to reinvent the wheel if we can help it.
Well, what these meetings are about is once a year we go out to the community and see what our community needs from us. And then we come back as a commission and take all that information and help set our year ahead. That really is what these are about, is how do we learn from our community? Because we are volunteers and we don't know everything and we're not on all parts of the community. So this is what we try to do to get that information. So we are doing what our community needs. All right. Any questions, anyone? Comments? Shall we move forward? We're almost done. Everyone is hanging in like a trooper. All right. The last thing, which I think Bird brought up, or we finished our committees. Now we're moving on to unfinished business. The last thing, or we talked about earlier, was it's Human Rights Awareness Month this month. And we updated our proclamation. We sent it out to the city of Eureka, Arcata, Fortuna, Ferndale, and the Board of Supervisors. It was read last night or Tuesday night at the city of Eureka, Wednesday night at the city of Arcata. And then it is being read at Board of Supervisors. I believe it's this Tuesday. And so if any of you would like to attend the Board of Supervisors meeting via Zoom, we will be attending to accept that proclamation, but it is not necessary. You don't have to attend, but if you would like to, you are welcome to.
We should put that on our calendar, our public calendar.
Okay, sounds good. Bird?
Send out the link so we have it to get on if we want to go.
Yes. Yes. I'll send out. The Board of Supervisors is the only one left. So I'll send that one out. Because it is nice for us to attend. Whew. Okay, let's move on to new business. Next month is Martin Luther King month. And I was hoping we could encourage the Anti-Racism and Cultural Awareness Committee to reach out to the ACLU and see what they're planning on doing because of COVID. Usually, David, we table there. But yes, Bird.
NAACP, not the ACLU.
Oh gosh, I'm sorry. I know, I got a smaller agendas. And see what they're planning and see how we can be a part of that and engage with them. I think that would be amazing because I'm not sure what to do. We don't know what to do because normally we table. And then the next thing on new business, and I included it when I sent the agenda out, is we need to approve our planning calendar for next year. And what that is those are the events and the things going on that we want to be involved in. I kind of feel like there needs to be more work put into that there's probably a lot more going on that we could add to that calendar. Did any of you get a chance to take a look at it? Yes, Bird?
I did, but the form was terrible. I had something like 13 pages of it because it came in a tiny little column with, a 1 or 2 words.
Oh,
all
no.
the way down. It was very hard to do anything with. I don't know, maybe Eddie can help with that, but
Well,
somehow, if we could send out something so that we could put things into it easily. This was just, it was almost impossible to deal with.
there should have been a link on there too to access, but let's make sure. So maybe what we can do is everyone can promise to work on it and we could approve it the 1st of January. Yes, Larry?
Back to the end, Martin Luther King, besides tabling, in years past, the commission chair has actually spoken as part of the presentation there. So
Okay, so maybe David, you could see if we could possibly make that happen this year. That would be great. Thank you. I appreciate that. Did you raise your hand, Eddie?
No, I was just giving a thumbs up.
Okay. All right. All right.
If they need help with the form, give it to me. I'll fix it up.
All right. I think I'm gonna have to table this to our next agenda. We're just so far and it's a heavier discussion, but I had on the agenda for us to talk about creating a homelessness committee around building a stakeholders meeting. As Nezzy mentioned, that there's a lot of change happening and it's looking like this is gonna get worse, not better. But I would like to table that and put that on our next agenda if everyone is okay with that. Do we need to vote on that, Bird, to move that to the next agenda? All right. Go ahead, Bird.
Just add it to the next agenda item, future agenda items. Just be sure it's on there.
Okay, got that, David? All right. Well, thank you, commissioners, for bearing with me for an extra 11 minutes, and thank you for community for participating.
Can David stay on the thing just for less than a minute? Because I want to show him something which will save us time.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Oh, after we adjourn, I'll do happy holidays after we adjourn.
All right. At the 7:11 p.m. on Thursday, the 3rd of December, 2020, the Human Rights Commission meeting has adjourned.
Will you guys survive the next month? Survive the next month, stay at home, 44 cases today alone.
Yeah.
Tells us that that's in one day. Those other big numbers were for Saturday, Sunday, Monday. This big number is for one day. And it's boring as heck. Do whatever it takes, but be healthy so we can all be together again next month. Okay, everybody, and an early Happy New Year. Peace.
Happy New Year, everybody. Happy holidays.
All right.
Yo, I have
Eddie,
to-
you can stay on with me. I can get off and you guys will stay on, right?
Yeah, it's just gonna take me a second.
All right. Thanks, you guys.
David, can you see my screen?